elder sign. Because why not? Cthulhu Yahtzee on a full moon, right? I think that's a good thing. So first I'm going to roll off to see who essentially the first player is, or the first person who gets to pick. It's been a little while since I played this game, so hopefully I don't make too many rules mistakes, but we know how this goes. There's going to be rules mistakes because it's me. Alright, so 13.
Lucky number 13 on the full
on a full
moon.
moon. Whoa!
Really?
Lucky.
Now you need to roll it just because.
Lucky number 13.
It would have been funny. But apparently, you'll be going first forever. Alright, so go ahead and pick a character. I mean, you have to pick them random. But what we usually do when we play this is we draw 2. And then you pick one that you want out of the 2 that you drew.
Okay.
And you'll just
So do you want me to pick 2 or just
draw
pick
2
one?
and then just leave them down, face down for now.
Alright.
I think you've played this before, right? You played this with us before. So
I don't remember.
you played it once with us.
Okay.
Way back at Zimmy's.
Oh boy, yeah.
Way back when we were doing monthly board game at Zimmy's. It was the 2 weeks after Halloween.
Oh wow. So yeah, when I first started.
It was your second time playing with us.
Wow. So long ago.
So draw 2. Just random. You can draw them. You don't have to draw them from the top, but
Okay.
just put 2 face down. I'll explain the rules because you may not remember them because it's been 2 years since you played this game. But I'll explain the rules first, and then we'll pick our actual characters. Because, it's nice to know the rules before you make your decision as to who you're going to bring into Insanity Bell. I'm just going to look and see who my choices are. Monterey Jack or Amanda Sharp.
They're both. Jeez.
It's true.
I have Daryl and his other brother, Harvey.
Ashcan Pete or Michael McGlynn.
Ashcan Pete has a dog.
I feel like I remember that. Either I was
You
him
played
or
Ashcan Pete in Mansions of Madness.
Oh, that's what it was.
It has a dog
Okay.
figure. Okay, so before we finish our setup and everything, I'm going to talk about how to play the game, and then we'll make our choices. And we'll probably want to put, Ashley, you and I probably want to put our characters up, like, at least in line with here so people can see what we have for
once I
characters.
decide, I will.
And Beth's is perfect.
Yeah.
Where hers is perfect. Okay. So, and we'll talk about what Elder one we got and all that fun stuff. So, we always start with the first player, and we take our turns going clockwise on the table like normal. We don't pass a first player token. Beth will be first player through the whole game, so we'll always have an even number of turns. And then you have choices of what you're going to do. We're going to start out at the top here in this kind of hub area. We have these little tokens that we're going to get once we chose our character, so it's a little teeny cube. I should use the Mansions of Madness figures for this. I really should. You start there, and then you can move to any one of these locations. So you choose the adventure card, and you move from the entrance to the adventure card, and then you either resolve the adventure or you wait at the entrance. You either roll some of these dice. This is Cthulhu Yahtzee, so you roll some of these dice. And you complete the tasks, so you want to try to match the symbols. Unfortunately, not many people are going to be able to see the symbols very well, although it does show a little bit. So, like, you can see the scrolls pretty easily. This is terror. This symbol, the magnifying glass, doesn't show up very well on camera. So we might want to tell people what we need for symbols before we roll. We might have to tell Beth what she needs before she rolls on some of them. And some of these are going to have monsters. Like, I haven't drawn this monster yet, but because that has an empty space, I'm going to be putting a monster in here from this Cthulhu bag.
I know this is Cthulhu Yahtzee, but that symbol looks like a teddy bear to me. Because you can change one symbol to it looks like a teddy bear. And I know it's not, but it looks like a teddy bear to me. I'm like, that just is so wrong.
It's an octopus.
I know, but it looks like a teddy bear.
It's a tedipus.
But just
I might as well put the monster in right now.
That first symbol down there.
Yeah, I can see it.
It's like a little...
Okay. So what's going to happen is you try to roll and complete the tasks on the adventure card, or you can stay. You don't have to move. You can stay on the entrance sheet and do one of the things that are on the entrance. Like you could heal, you can gain items potentially if you have enough trophies to spend on items and that kind of thing. Or you could also just stay on the entrance and pass if you don't think you can fulfill some of these actions. So we're going to talk about the movement first. The active player takes your marker and you place it on either one of the face-up adventure cards in play, or you move yourself back to the entrance if you're on an adventure card. And then, again, you either do an action on the entrance, or you attempt to resolve the adventure. Now, if you're going to try to resolve the adventure, you roll the 6 green dice. So there's these right here. You'll roll these. You won't necessarily roll these, the red or the yellow, which have better results on them, unless you have allies or items that allow you to. So everyone will be rolling regular dice to start with. And you're trying to complete at least one of the actions. It will tell you how many of each that you need. They have values. So, for example, for this one, you need 6 magnifying glasses. That's worth 1. That's worth 2. That's worth 3. So if I rolled this 2, I now need to try to find 4 more. So in this case, I'd have a total of 4. So that wouldn't work. I wouldn't be able to complete that. But you just line them up. Even though it only has 1 square, you're going to need more than that for dice. You know what I mean? Just keep on going until you have it all. The downside is you need some of those dice for the other task that's on there. So this one's really hard to do. But yeah, you try to complete one of the tasks. You can also add a yellow die or a red die or both if instructed to do so by a game effect, or if you have a common item or a unique item that lets you do that. If a die is locked, that die cannot be used to attempt to resolve the adventure card. This may result in less than 6 dice. So in some cases, I don't think we have any out yet, but some of these will have there'll be an effect where one of our dice actually has to sit on that card until we resolve the card. So if it happens to be a green die that's locked, it'll have a blur on it. We put that there, means we only get to roll 5 dice. We don't have any out right now that have locked any dice, but that's going to happen at some point. And then they have 1 or more horizontal rolls. Those are the tasks. And so if it has more than 1 row, both are considered the same task. You choose which row you're going to resolve first, like with your rolls, but you have to complete both rows.
Oh, so we don't have to actually get 9 investigation and a scroll.
Oh, no, you do. Yes.
But not at the same time.
Well, no, here's how it works. I'll finish explaining the rolling, but essentially, yes, you must get 9 in a scroll to finish this card.
Yeah.
If you get 6 and then you are unable to later complete this in the same turn, you will fail the whole thing.
Okay.
But yeah, you don't have to. You pick which roll you're going to resolve as you do your rolls, though. Yeah. So if you have like a bunch and you don't have any scrolls, you can start resolving this one first. Excuse me. The magnifying glass is investigation. The scroll is lore. A skull is considered peril, and then the little green like octopus things is terror. Normally terror is a bad thing to roll, but in some cases you need it. If you have 2 pictures, which I don't think we have any. But if you have one that has maybe a magnifying glass in the top half and then a half of a skull in the bottom half, you can, that's considered a split die result, and what that means is you can get either or. So if you happen to find a skull, you can use that. If you happen to find a scroll, you can use that. If there's a clock on it, anywhere near it, what happens is once all the die result requirements for this task have been met, you advance the clock to complete the task, which means you'll be advancing the clock more than once during the turn. Normally you only advance it once, because every time it hits midnight, bad things happen. But some of our cards may require us to advance the clock more than 1 time. If it has -1 and a blue skull symbol, you lose a sanity. These are our sanity tokens. If it has a heart and a -1, you lose a health. And then again, the locks basically are a color, and it has a padlock. So if it's green with a padlock, it means we have to lock a green die. If it's yellow, so we could potentially have dice that are out for several turns because some of those tasks are really hard to solve. So then you roll your dice and you see what you get. Yellow dice are typically gained if you spend a common item, and some of us will be starting with common items. I think we all might start with one. And then the red one you get when you spend uncommon items. And then when you complete a task, what you're going to do is you have to look at the requirements and you have to kind of work on one at a time. So I can't do something like this. I can't put a scroll here and then start putting investigation up here. I have to resolve one before I resolve the other. Does that make sense? You do one row and then you can do the other row. Get it?
Yeah. But you have to do all the rows.
Yeah, I literally cannot do this. when I'm resolving a row, I can't do this.
Right.
If I start working on this one, then this has to go here, and then I can finish that, and then I can start working on this. So you have to pick which row you're going to start working on, and then hopefully you have enough dice. Like this, no idea, really, how that's going to happen, because it's just awful. Actually, it's not that bad. It's 2 terror, a peril, and 3 lore, but still, ucky. So, now a dice placed on a requirement cannot be rolled again during a resolve adventure card, even if you have the ability to re-roll dice. It's already committed. If the task requires the player to advance the clock, lose sanity, or lose stamina, you do that at that time. So in this case, if you solve this one first, before you start working on these guys, you lose a sanity. And you're still going to work on this during the same turn. So all this stuff happens in the same turn. Yeah. But if you happen to resolve this row first, you take the punishment. So you could lose a sanity and then fail at finishing this card, and that sanity is still gone. So if you try the card again, you could lose the sanity again. That's the challenge. Isn't that fun? Now you can only complete a single task with each roll, again, like I mentioned. So you pick a row and you do it. Even if, let's say your die results, you roll and you're actually able to solve 2 rows at once. You are not allowed to. You pick a row, you solve it, you put the dice in there, and then you re-roll. So even if, like, say I rolled this dice and it gave me enough to finish all 3 of these, can't do it. I got to pick one, resolve one, then re-roll. So it's challenging. Now, there are something I wanted to bring up on the red dice. I don't think it's on any of the others, but if you, it's just red. Can't even get it. Oh, I rolled it. If you get this on the red die, it basically can be used for anything. It's a wild card. It can even be used for terror. So it can be used investigation, lore, peril, or terror.
Ah, okay.
It's the only die that
I'm
has
like,
it.
what is that?
It's like a little dude.
It's a little dude with a gun, yeah.
Now, after you complete a task, if there are more tasks on the adventure card to complete, you take all the remaining dice, you roll them, and you attempt to complete the rest. Once all tasks on the adventure card have been completed, if you've successfully resolved it, you get to do a couple things. It has to be done in order. The first thing you do is you receive the rewards listed on rewards on the card. So that's these. This side, the white, is the rewards. Move all of the markers on the card. So if there's a couple of us working on it, like from turn to turn, all of those folks get moved to the entrance. So you go back to the entrance after resolving the card. Remove all the dice from the resolved adventure card, and you take that card. That is a trophy that you can later use in the game to buy items. And then you draw a new adventure card and you replace it. Then the clock must be moved 1 step. Now the way the clock works is there's technically only 4 steps on the clock. We've got 12 numbers, but if you move it 1 step, you're moving it to the 3. The next person's going to move it to the 6. The next person's going to move it to the 9, and then you're going to move back to the 12.
That's evil. They just shouldn't show the 1, 2,
right?
4.
Well, it's supposed to look like a real clock, but
well,
if you notice
they
the
have
gold
clocks
numbers,
that only show the 4, the cardinal point.
I know, but from an artistic standpoint, it doesn't look quite as good. I mean, this looks cool. And what they did is they put the black around the ones that you have to move it to. So just remember, it's going to hit midnight much faster than you think. Now, let's say you failed to complete it. You roll everything, you didn't complete the card kicked your butt.
Yep.
The first thing you do is you resolve all terror effects that are on the adventure card. Some of them will have terror written in here. Some of them have stuff that happens at midnight. That's not necessarily terror. But some of them have a thing that will say terror on them, and you have to resolve that. You resolve the terror effects on the thing, and then brain cramp. All terror effects on the adventure card, as well as any on a mythos card that's currently active.
Okay.
Sorry, that's what I was missing. And then what you have to do is you can attempt again to complete a task, or you can just fail to resolve the adventure card. If you attempt again to complete the task, you take 1 die and you remove it. So if you start with 6, you're going to now have 5 to try to do it. And then you keep on going. You can also choose 1 other die from the previous attempt to use for focusing. So if you had one that was a successful one, you can put it aside. You just basically put it on your actual investigator marker, which are these little things. So if you're in here, you can actually put 1 die on your character if it's a success, and that counts as a success on the next time you try to resolve.
If you have that.
Yes. So what would happen if I had 6 dice here, right? And I failed, but one of them was successful. We'll say, I don't know, a scroll was successful, right? First, I still have to remove a die. I can lock this, meaning I don't have to re-roll it. I'm going to put it on my character instead. It's a success. Then I take the 4 remaining die and I roll them to see if I get successes again. And then I can be like, okay, now I can start moving this in here. You can keep one of your successes in your next attempt, unless you get to the point where you're only rolling like 1 die, in which case you can't do that. You can't have an auto success. Excuse me. And it can be any die. It can be these too, if you have them. I think you can. Now, if there's another player on the same adventure card, you can ask them to help by focusing or assisting. Now, you take all the dice from the previous attempt except for the one you took out, and you re-roll them and you try to complete it again. If there's no way to complete the remaining task in the adventure card, you automatically fail to resolve the card, and if you fail to resolve the card, you suffer the card's penalties, which is what's over here. So like this one, you lose a sanity, this one you lose 2 sanity and 2 health. That is a yucky card. It's called When Night Falls, so obviously it's not a fun card. And then you remove all the dice from the card, except those that are locked on a die icon, because some might be locked. And then you still stay on that card, so you can be there to help somebody else, or somebody can come and help you. And then you advance the clock because your turn is essentially over because you can't resolve anymore. Does that make sense?
Yay.
And we'll talk about what we have to do on each of these so that folks watching will know what we get for rewards and stuff.
I can't even see it.
It's
Really.
Yeah, not a big deal.
It seems a lot harder than I remember.
It's not that hard. It honestly isn't as hard as you think.
Well, no, some of those are kind of difficult.
And then, now typically you can complete tasks in any order that you want. Except for if there's an arrow, which, do we have any arrows on the left side? We don't. You may have an arrow pointing
Isn't
down.
that an arrow?
Oh, there we are. Yep, sorry, I couldn't see it. So in this case, you have to resolve the first one first. Then you can do the second one. Then you can do the third one. These, you can do in any order you want. So be aware of that. If you're on the entrance, you can wait there instead of moving, in which case you can either receive first aid, you can gain 1 stamina and 1 sanity for free, or pay 2 trophies to regain all of your stamina or sanity, or pay 4 trophies to gain regain everything. You can also search lost and found. You roll a green die and you consult the chart that's over there. Beth, you'll have to help us with that because we're way far away from it. You might get some items. You can miss a turn. You can also buy a souvenir. You can purchase only 1 of the listed objects by spending trophies to pay for it. Now, when you successfully finish an adventure card, if you notice these have numbers on them, that's the trophy value. This is worth 2 trophies. This is worth 1. That's
Nightfall should be worth more than 2.
Right?
I mean, look at that.
Granted, it's a random monster card that you draw, but you also, if you defeat this, if you resolve this, even if you didn't defeat the card, you still get this. This is a trophy that you get.
Oh.
This only has to be resolved once.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying you could lose the sanity twice because I was trying to use that as an example if it was an activity that had it, you know what I mean? But this is a monster. When you beat the monster, it's yours.
Okay. So if you clear that, you only need those 2 and lose the sanity, and boom, it's gone.
Yeah. So even if you fail the card, you can potentially clear the monster. So the next time you go after that card, it's easier.
It's easier
Because you don't. Yeah. Unless some mythos puts another monster there, which can happen.
Yeah.
And same thing, monsters, when you flip the monster over, on the other side, it has a kind of fun little quote that we can always read if we beat our monsters, but also it has a trophy value of 1 to 3, I think. And in a situation where you want to spend and lose 1 trophy, but you don't have an adventure card or monster that's worth less than 2, you have to spend the 2 and lose the extra. So you don't get, you're basically overspending. You don't get change.
Oh.
Then we advance the clock. At midnight we draw a new Mythos card and we resolve it, which is great. We're going to have 2 things, I think, that happens with the Mythos card. They have 2 halves. Let me see. Yeah. So you have your first effect is the top part. That happens immediately, and then you have a lingering effect that happens throughout the whole turn, which is what's below it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And then we also have using items and spells. You can spend one or more common items, unique items, or spells before any roll. When that happens, that card is discarded and you get the dice or whatever, or effect that's from it. Most common items are going to give you a yellow die. Most unique items are going to give you a red die. Most spells will have a thing where you can lock a die. Now, you place the spell card next to the play area immediately before any roll of the dice. And then after you roll, you can choose one of the dice, and without changing the dice result, place it on the spell card in the little box. When the die is on the spell card, it's not re-rolled when the active player tries to complete a task, but the die's result may be used to meet the task requirement. Only one die may be placed on a spell card unless otherwise indicated on the card. And a die on this card remains on it until it's used to complete a task. So you can essentially lock it before you potentially fail a mission. So the neat thing is it counts as a success, but then if you don't succeed, you still have it, plus you have your character that you can lock a successful die on. So that's why spells are really good, because it allows you can lock up to 2. So hopefully that makes sense.
And that's just an always thing.
Well, once you cast a spell, it gets discarded. Once you've used the die, the spell goes away.
Right.
But there are other ways to get spells. And then you have allies with different abilities. You'll gain clues in the game, which are these little footprints. Really little footprints. After any roll to complete a task, you can spend one of your clue token to re-roll any or all of the dice in your dice pool before determining if you've completed any tasks on the adventure card. You can spend clues to re-roll a given roll any number of times. So if you have 5 clues, you can spend 5 clues. There's no limit. You can only get the re-roll once per clue. Now, if you make a die roll and you fail to complete the task, you can choose either to focus or use another investigator on the same adventure to assist him. So focusing is when you put the die on yourself. In either case, the active player chooses one die from his roll and without changing the die's result, places it on an investigator marker. In the case of focusing, the active player places it on their own. In the case of assisting, the active player places the die on the investigator that's sharing the same adventure card. You still have to set aside a die for failing, but that die is not re-rolled. And when we try to complete the task again, you can use that result automatically as a success. Just like with focusing, assisting is the same thing. The difference is, though, you can never place more than one die per roll. So it's like if you and I were on this one, right, and I failed it, I can choose to put the die on myself for the next roll, or I can ask you. It's not in the rules. We have to ask. I can just put it on you. It's a good idea to ask your teammates. So, can I put this on you? Like maybe I can't afford to get the negative effect. If you fail the die roll, that person will get the negative effect too. So, it can be beneficial because if somebody dies, that gives him more power. So depending on where you are, most of the time you're going to focus on yourself, but sometimes you might have an ally helping you. And then, so you can never do more than one per roll, so you're choosing whether to focus it or not. Any investigators who are assisting must choose to either lose 1 sanity or lose 1 stamina. So, I'm sorry, you don't lose this. The active player will lose this, but the person assisting could lose 1 sanity or 1 stamina.
Will if you fail.
Yes. Yep. And then, I think it's just one sanity and 1 stamina. Or, it's one or the other. So you pick. Yep. And then we already talked about when monsters appear. Whenever, so we don't have to put this monster on here. I did that wrong. Yeah, it's only if the mythos says so. Sorry, Matt. If it says a monster appears, you put it on the space here first. That it goes here first. Any white kind of border things. If there are no places like that, then you put it on any card. And this is what's called an empty monster task. So if a monster appears, we put him there.
If there isn't one of those, does the monster go wherever?
Well, there's also partial monster tasks. So if we have a partial monster task, it would go here. So a total monster task is one that has all of its requirements surrounded by the white border, which is this. That's where you just kind of put it right there, and then it counts in addition to these. If you have a partial monster task, in this case it's easy because it's just replacing this, but let's say we have the investigative token and something else in white. We would put the monster next to it, and so you have to have that plus everything that's on the monster. Yuck.
So you'd have everything that's not white
Correct.
plus the monster.
Correct.
Because the monster's replacing the white, not anything else.
Correct.
Ew.
Yep. So partial monster tasks can be horrible. If there are multiple monster tasks in play, the active player decides which one to place the monster marker on. If there are no monster tasks in play, not already covered by a monster marker, then the active player chooses any one adventure card and places the monster marker under the bottom task of the card, so it gets added to everything else. If you complete one or more tasks on a monster marker, or a task which includes a monster marker, even before failing to resolve the adventure card, you still gain the monster marker, which is what I was talking about. You remove all the dice from the monster marker and you take it. During the time that you're solving the card, though, so if we put a monster here, these dice will stay here until we try to resolve everything. You have to fail it to have these dice come off and get the monster marker. Yeah. And if you succeed, you get the monster marker. So that's good. If an investigator's sanity, stamina, or both are reduced to 0, you are devoured by the Elder One. When you're devoured, you add 1 Doom token. That's what those little teeny circles are. You add that to the Doom track. And you return the investigator card and you get another one. Any allies and adventure cards that you claimed are returned face down to the bottom of their corresponding decks. And any monster markers you claimed are put back. And clue tokens are put back. So you pretty much lose everything and just start over, essentially. Unless we run out of investigators, which I doubt we will. There's so many. Now, when players are instructed to add a Doom token to the Doom track, the active player, we'll just have you do it, Beth, because you're closer, but you basically place a Doom token on the first space available that does not already have one on it to the left. Kind of, you start at the top and then you work like reading, essentially. So you start at the top left corner and you continue to go right until you can't, and then you go to the next row down. When a Doom token is placed on a space with a monster icon, which is pretty much every couple of spaces.
Yes.
When that happens, a monster appears on one of the cards. When the last space on the Doom track has a token placed on it, the Ancient One awakens, and the investigators must confront that horrible creature in combat. We're not going to talk about battling the Ancient One right now. We're just gonna, if that happens, we'll deal with that at that time. And then the other thing to talk about are the Elder Signs. That's what these little star symbols are. We earn Elder Signs. As we earn them, you place them on, like, maybe on the top above the monster or next to him. But we need, how many does it say there? 11, I think?
It says 11.
Yeah, we need 11 of those
wow.
to beat him. So that's fun. So let's real quick pick our characters, finish our setup, and then we can start the game after I fix the camera that I just knocked.
Oh,
Sorry, everyone.
gosh,
Earthquake! Alright, let's see. And we'll want to talk about what we have for powers and stuff once we pick our characters so that everyone knows. Okay. Oh, I like that.
So,
both these characters are so good.
which one is more rare?
The red.
The red?
That's the unique items.
Oh. So this
Common
is the most
items are the most common. Spells are semi, and then unique items are super rare.
Well, they both get a unique item, but one gets a spell, one gets a gun. So
Spells let you lock dice. The guns give you yellow dice.
an extra die is an extra die.
This guy, if he gets a unique item, he gets 2 instead, and he has 7 health. But this chick can actually resolve multiple tasks in one roll. We're going to start with Amanda Sharp.
Wow.
I want the doggy.
The dog.
Yeah.
I think you died with him, though.
Yeah, well, I'm probably going to die either way, so I might as well have a pet.
Alright, starting with Beth, just let me know how many sanity you have.
I have 4 sanity and 6 health.
Alright.
Me too.
Here's your 4 sanity.
Well, considering everybody gets 10s, 5 to 10s, so.
And here's your 6 health, I think. Oh, that's a 5. Maybe 2 3s. And then do you want to tell people what your ability is? I think you just did, didn't you? Wait, did you? What's your, do you have a special ability?
Those are I just had my starting items.
Okay.
No, I have hometown advantage. Daryl Simmons is the photographer.
Okay.
He starts with a gun and a knife, and he has a hometown advantage. Once per roll, Daryl may change the result of a die from 1 investigation to 2.
Ooh.
From 2 investigation to 3.
Nice.
Or on yellow and red dice, from 3 investigation to 4.
Oh, that's not bad. And then you start with 1 common item and 1.
Yep. So I get one of these.
Yep.
And
And what is your? Actually, we'll probably just do it this way. Dump all the shit out.
oh, we get a shotgun and the Ruby Arala. The Ruby Arala.
Ooh. Oh, red.
Mm-hmm.
That's quite nice. Which one of these is Ashley's character? Which one's yours?
Mine is a photographer. So do you see a guy with a big old flash
right here?
Mm-hmm.
And he was in the entrance. And then mine is a chick with glasses. Oh, there she is. Can you put her in the entrance? And then, okay, Ashley, what's your special power?
I have Scrounge. Whenever Pete gains a common item, unique item, or spell after setup, he may choose to instead receive a clue token, common item, unique item, or spell.
Nice. There he is. And then you start. Do you start with an ally? You start with a dog.
Duke.
Here you go. All right. And then I'm playing Amanda Sharp, the student. She's studious. Who knew?
The student.
Amanda may complete any number of tasks per roll instead of 1. And Amanda starts with 2 items drawn from the spell, common items, or unique item decks in any combination. I'm going to take 1 common item and 1 unique item.
1 common and 1 unique.
Thank you. Alright, what did I get? Cult to Ghouls, which is a plus red die, and an axe, which is plus yellow. Oh, you can't even see my character. Let's get Cthulhu out of the way here.
So basically, he throws Duke in the way if he's gonna die.
What a jerk. A terrible person. Hey, you do what you gotta do, though. Alright, so Beth, if you want to pull up the Elder One and tell people what we have to deal with.
Alright, this is the evil that is Itaqua. The Icy Winds. Each time an investigator spends a unique item or a spell, he loses 1 stamina. Oh, really?
What?
Ah.
I'm glad I have 5.
Well, that's annoying. Okay. Ooh.
At least you have 6.
Yes. His attack.
It's just a spell or unique item, though. It's not.
Just
the
a
common
spell
items?
or a unique item, yes.
Okay.
So I would have been screwed either way, because I had a spell on one and a unique item on the other. Or actually, I had unique items on both.
Great.
One of them was a unique item and a spell.
Great.
So glad I got rid of the professor then, because that's nice. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he, when he attacks, when he awakens, you roll a green die for each common item, unique item, or spell you have.
Oh, man.
On a result of 1 or more investigations, discard that card.
Should he?
When he attacks, each investigator must discard a clue token or lose 2 stamina.
We want to beat him before he wakes up, then, basically.
Yeah, well, he's waking up 3 times.
What? What do you mean?
Doesn't he attack with...
No, he brings a monster.
Oh, okay.
If we can't beat him, if he gets all
the way down to the end.
It doesn't take long. Look at he has a
yeah.
very short leash.
It's 9.
1, 2, 3, 4. That's not that much.
I know.
If you compare it to some of the others. It means we have to hit midnight 9 times. We have to do this very quickly. Yeah! Alright, so let's look at our locations that we have to deal with. We have the mysterious tomb. As I read the text aloud, it was as if the words were a tangible force, reshaping the air before me into a swirling vortex of luminescent mist. We need 3 investigation, 1 terror, and 2 lore. If we fail, we advance the doom track by 1. Yeah! If we succeed, you get a clue token, an otherworldly card will come into play. So we'll have an extra location in addition to the 6 normal ones, and you will gain a spell. That's that location.
That's not horrible.
And it's worth 2. And then we have the Transported by Magic, also worth 2. My skin glowed white hot until I had to close my eyes. The floor disappeared under my feet, and I seemed to fall forever. At midnight, and this is the next time, we don't have to do it now. We're starting at midnight, but add 1 dupe token for each Another World adventure card in play. We have 2 tasks. One where we need 6 investigation, and one where we need 2 lore. If we fail, whoever fails this, we advance the doom track and lose a sanity. If you win, you gain 2 spells, and Another World card comes into play. Then we have There's Something in the Basement. With each step of the steeply descending staircase, I sank deeper into a crazed panic. 3 tasks. We need 6 investigation, 1 lore, and then the 3rd task is 1 terror. If you fail, you lose a sanity and a stamina. If you win, you gain a unique item and a clue. It's only worth 1, but the unique item's probably really good.
Oh, you could.
Then we have the missing records. Unbelievable! The fact that someone had tried to hide this ledger proves that this horrid collection of cursed relics was gathered in full knowledge of their terrible insignificance. 2 tasks. The first task is 6 investigation. The second task is 1 lore and 3 investigation. Lose a sanity if you fail. Gain 2 clues if you succeed. And then we have When Night Falls. Once the sun set, the distant stars glowered above the dark tiled roof of the museum. We may have a monster. That hasn't happened yet because we haven't had the mythos, but right now we have 2 tasks. We need 1 terror, and then the other task is 1 peril and 2 lore. If you fail, you lose 2 sanity and 2 stamina. If you win, you gain 1 clue, 1 unique item, and an elder sign. And the last one, the hidden passage. These tasks must be done in order, top to bottom. The tunnel was carved long before the museum was built. What had this place been? Oh yeah, by the way, we're in a museum. The first task that needs to be completed is 3 investigation. The second task that needs to be completed is 1 peril and 3 investigation. The last task is 1 lore. If you fail, you lose 2 stamina, but if you win, you gain 2 elder signs. So, there we have it. The start of our adventure.
Mm-hmm.
And Beth, you get to pick first. And I just totally made these all like, let's try to make these a little bit less crooked because my OCD will kill me. There's got to be at least one viewer with as much OCD as me so that they don't think I'm an idiot when I do these. I try to make this straighter. I need to make myself an elder sign playmat. There, that's sort of straight-ish. It's better. It's not straight, but it's better. Alright, where do you want to go? Where would you like to start? Oh, first the mythos has to be drawn. We do have to deal with one at the start. Yep. Just draw it to the other side. We'll read the top. What happens to us right now immediately.
The stars align. Add a doom token to the doom track.
Because, yeah, that's good. We're gonna die.
And the last one, the bottom side,
is what goes on ongoing.
Above dark clouds. Spells and unique items cannot be used today.
Great! Well, at least we won't be losing stamina. Because we can't use them. So we won't be losing stamina from using them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Alright. So I think I am probably the best one to try this. So I am going to go down here and try to get rid of this one because it's got 6. And I can actually change the die rolls. So I'm going to try that one.
Okay.
Alright.
Are you going to use just the green die or are you going to spend any of your items to get the yellow?
I can. Oh yeah, it is a unique item. I can't use it.
No, I didn't know if your yellow gives you a yellow, your common item gave you a yellow item like mine does.
I get to discard after rolling to change one die result to a skull.
Alright.
Thing. So.
You got a terror. Do you need a terror? Where are you? Oh, no, you don't.
I need 6.
Nice. Now reroll.
And
see, if you were me, I could
Oh, actually, I wonder if I want to do this first. No, because I can change these once per roll. I might be better off doing this one first then. 'Cause I have the,
2 scrolls in once might not be easy to do, so.
right, that's what I'm thinking. I might want to do that because once per roll I can.
Yeah.
I can do that. All right. So once per roll. Well,
You
it's
got it.
actually 6
2, 4,
anyway.
6.
But I mean, I can.
You win.
Yeah.
Woo! So 2 spells.
So do I go back?
Yep, you
Yes.
go back.
Mhm.
This is your trophy. It's worth 2.
Mm-hmm.
You get 2 spell cards. And then a new place comes out. 2 new places are going to come out.
So because that's what that is.
Nope, that's the other world. We're
That's
going to
it,
get an
yeah.
extra one, but you always replace the one that you took. So the next thing that come up is something has broken free. The ancient stone had weighed tons, and yet something had shattered it against the opposite wall in the gallery. This has a terror effect. If a terror effect goes off, you fail to resolve this adventure automatically.
Whoa.
Oh, we knew there was going to be a Toby at some point.
What dopes?
You going to lie in the middle of our cards, honey? What you going to do? No, he's going to go see. Yeah, he's so cute. Going to go see Ashley. All you see is a toe. You see his Toby toe.
Toby.
If you fail this one, you lose the stamina. If you succeed, a monster appears.
Oh.
You get a clue, a spell, and a unique item. And it's worth 1. We also now have an Otherworld card. The Great Hall of Solano. Aww. It'll be hard for you to roll your dice.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
He's not even on screen, but he's so cute. Aww, he just
He's
wants
happy.
attention.
Mhm.
Want to be on
He's
TV,
very
honey?
happy. Well, it's because you have a dog, so he's like
Well,
no.
2
petting.
cats, but yeah.
No, you're
No.
just talking about your guy.
Because he's
Oh!
he's hiding. He's cutting you off from Duke. You can't have your dog.
Yeah,
he's like
that
no,
makes sense.
dog. No, you can't have a dog. No.
Ooh, this one's good. It's also
Oh, you are shedding
Possibly
for the
hard.
Summer, huh?
Yeah, he is shedding for sure. He won't let me comb him. Patty let me comb her, and I got a lot of her undercoat, but he's like, nope, gotta chew on that thing. So the Great Hall of Solano, or Solino? I don't know. I found myself in a library, but fear gripped me, for knowledge itself can be dangerous. We need 1 terror. There's 3 tasks. The first task is a terror, and you can do them in any order, but I mean, 1 task is a terror, 1 task is 1 lore, and 1 task is 6 investigation. If you fail, you lose a sanity. If you win, you get an elder sign, a spell, and you get to remove a doom token from the doom track.
Ooh, that would be nice.
Yeah. I might try to resolve that one.
This one has 2.
Yep, that means you can lock 2 dice.
That's okay. That's what I thought.
Yep, absolutely.
Mhm.
Alright, so Ashley, where do you want to go?
Um,
Beth will help you move so that you don't get clawed.
okay. I don't know.
What do you want to try?
Let's try.
We got 3 different cards that put elder signs, but they're all very hard to resolve.
Which is why I was trying to get a couple of
Maybe
things to help.
There's something in the basement.
Where is that one? Right there? Yeah, go for it. You need 6 investigation, a lore, and a terror. And you have to do them in 3 different rolls. And Toby moved just so you can roll your dice. Isn't that good, bud? You're a good boy. Except when you're on the table, which is...
I mean, you could do it. That's 6.
Yeah.
Then you gotta get a
Or-
lore. I mean, at this point,
Because you only need 1 and 1, so
I say go for it. Because there's probably no other way to do it. Actually, that's the only thing she can do. She has to do it. Yeah. Put that right there. Now you just need a terror. Go for it.
You can do it. You can do it.
Boo.
Or not.
Nope.
And you don't have any benefits to help you? Nope.
She doesn't.
Mm.
Alright, so that goes aside.
I mean, I could discard Duke. What am I gonna do?
No, just roll a die. You get 1 more roll.
Come on.
Terror, terror, terror,
Give me
terror,
good luck,
terror.
Two
Come on.
Topes.
He almost did. He went to look it.
Huh? Sniffle do.
It almost did, but it didn't. Alright, so you lose 1 stamina and 1 sanity.
There, they're ones.
Yes, they're right here. That sucks.
Yeah. Pretty lame.
But it was a good effort. You almost got it. This is literally the same thing. Tempted to try it. Has less of a negative. And yeah, I'm gonna try it. And just because I want to take that doom track off right away, I want to see if I can succeed. So I'm gonna spend my axe. Just goes on the bottom.
I was gonna say it just goes on the bottom right automatically.
All right, here we go. Wow. Well, there's the 6. Does beat in order? They don't.
Nope. So, come on. Ooh, Tara.
So far, so good.
Come on, scroll.
Yay.
Come on, scroll.
I forgot I could have taken some of the dice. Actually, I didn't have any other successes, but I won it. Which means I don't have any more yellow dice. Okay. So if you can put me in the entrance, please. Alright, so that was the other world, so we don't replace that automatically, but we put an elder sign on him. 10 more to go.
That.
I will gain a spell, and that stupid doom track thing, that goes
away.